Hey, welcome to Video Store Veterans. This is Mark.
And Keegan.
And Ryan.
We are all people who have worked in a video store at some point. These old things called video stores.
Yeah, what are those again?
Oh yeah, those little things.
They're the abandoned buildings next to every food store.
Pretty much.
Somewhere. So yeah, I worked at a Hollywood Video, and you worked in a Blockbuster, didn't you, Keegan?
Yeah, we both did. Both Ryan and me worked at Blockbuster.
It's actually how we met.
Oh wow. Same time, or just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started a long time before I did, though.
It was a couple years before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yes, years at a Blockbuster.
I still treasure those years.
Oh yeah, those are great places. I mean, the video store is not like a joke about it, but they're not actually like gone. Like there's still like a Family Video.
Oh yeah.
There's Video Universe.
Oh, Video Universe is awesome.
Yeah. Have you been there yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Robbinsdale, that place is crazy.
It's amazing.
What is this?
Video Universe. It's a little local video store in Robbinsdale.
Oh, cool.
And they still carry like VHS tapes. In fact, one of the things that they pride themselves on is they have, I'm not sure if it's the complete series, but they have an entire section devoted to VHS tapes for the show Dark Shadows.
Yep.
Wow.
Which has like over 1,000 episodes. So.
Okay.
And you can also rent like vintage video games from them too, for like Super Nintendo and NES and everything.
I think they have N64 there too.
I think they do. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's I've only been there I think twice now, but it's super daunting when you walk in because there's just it's all over the place. There's everything.
There's like banners and posters everywhere. Yeah.
I gotta check this out.
It's packed.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, usually what I've been starting with this is that we usually state what's like the last movie that we've been watching lately.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I watched this great little film. It's probably going to be my favorite of the year. It's from, I forgot what it's from. It's called 71.
Okay.
It's about the 1971 riots in Belfast.
Ooh.
In which like Protestants were against Catholics, and it's about one soldier who gets caught up in the riot and is sort of like trapped behind enemy lines because people like hate these soldiers, so he's like trying to find a way out.
Oh, okay.
And it's brutal and gritty, and there's of course he runs into like people who are working for the other side, and there's explosives, and it's just it's so well shot. It's probably going to be one of my favorite films of the year, unless like Fall blows me away.
Right. And is it all indie cast? Is there any like known names that are in it? Or
it's mostly indie cast. Like I think the biggest name in there is Jack O'Connell, who's the lead. I think it's a fairly indie. You know how they are in like Europe. There's like fairly indie productions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like this one's been very acclaimed. Like everyone's been talking about this film. So
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that one out.
Yep.
Let's see. For me, I've been finally catching up on the Oscar movies that I missed.
Oh yeah.
And most recently watched Whiplash.
Yeah.
That movie was amazing. Performance alone, like J.K. Simmons absolutely deserved that Oscar.
Oh yeah.
And Miles Teller was fantastic, and just that ending scene, you could feel. I don't know, like I was like sweating watching that final scene because there's just so much tension and grit and just. That was a fantastic movie.
They really play up like the pain and like the blood and the sweat you see on Tiller, and it feels real just because like how they shoot it and for like how long they hold on him.
Yeah, and J.K. Simmons, like his performance was just phenomenal. Like he became a completely different person because I've seen him, mainly in comedic roles, but just seeing him in that role, he was just fantastic.
That was the one about the band, right?
He's a drum student.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Super.
I haven't seen that one, but I do remember watching a scene where he's trying to get the timing down right, and that was just intense.
Yeah,
it was like a month ago that I watched that.
The whole movie is kind of like that. Any scene where it's J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller sharing the screen, it's kind of like a boiling point, like the water's just kind of starting to boil. It just rises and rises. Like the tension and the way it was shot and edited, like with the editing especially, was amazing. Yeah, I highly recommend that one. I'm sure everyone else has seen it because it takes me forever to see the Oscar movies.
Oh, yeah.
I still haven't.
Well,
right.
It usually does, yeah, because a lot of these will, like, sneak in on, like, Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Or past it, so you can't find it, like, right away.
Yeah, and some have those limited releases until, like, February when they're released just before the Oscars happen.
Well, most of them release in about January to take advantage of fertile ground, but some of them appear like closer to February.
Yeah,
because a lot of them, like I think most like the big ones opened up in January, like American Sniper and Selma opened up right at that time.
Yeah,
those are the other two I still haven't seen.
You haven't seen Sniper yet?
No, I really do want to see that though.
Yeah,
very good one. I think it recently came out on DVD.
Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah.
Selma's out now too.
Oh yeah, Selma's been out for a while.
Selma's really good.
I just recently, I also finished up watching all the Oscars. I just watched Foxcatcher a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
what did you think of that one?
Okay.
I actually really dug it. It's one of those where it's very, very subtle that you really have to pay attention to it. And once you do, it makes it an awesome movie.
Yeah, it really doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't dumb anything down for you. It's very slow burn, and you kind of have to, well, like you said, you kind of really have to pay attention to it, really grasp what's going on. But the performances in that one too.
Yeah,
really good.
I completely forgot that was Steve Carell for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and whenever he was on screen, it always had the kind of this weird tension to it.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that was just really, really cool.
Well, it's great because, like, you can see that he is damaged, like really damaged, and he never shows it. Like, even at the point where they get to like the boiling point where it erupts, like you never see it. Like, he's always pulled back from it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought another kind of, I think he might have gotten nominated too, but Mark Ruffalo, I thought his performance was really, really good.
And that's the thing, like, everyone in that film is great, but like, but they're more or less great because like they're playing to their biggest strengths.
Right.
And Carell is going like way outside his safe zone for that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
What's amazing about that?
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of the well, not necessarily the norm, but it seems like a lot of comedic actors can really shine when it comes to dramatic performances.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I see a lot of that.
They just have to bust out of that kind of shell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how many times has Jim Carrey tried to do it?
Yeah. Well, you kind of got to, pick the right people to be with. And, try to find, like, the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, looking like a fool. Like, you're going to end up with something like I Am Sam or something.
Right. So. Yeah, exactly.
I still enjoyed I Am Sam. But the problem was I saw it in, I was in, like, I think it was in high school. Yeah. And they threw it on, it was one of those days where they roll in the cart.
Yeah.
And with the VHS player. And I think that was just why I enjoyed it so much.
I like this film based on the principle that I didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Howard the Duck was awesome because I didn't have to do social studies. So what have you been watching?
Yeah.
The last movie I actually saw in the theaters was Vacation.
Oh yeah.
Just because I was trying to actually catch up for this. And I did a double feature in one day with my girlfriend. We did Inside Out, and then we went straight into Vacation.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which was kind of
polar opposites.
Both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, there's no time in between. It was great. Well, a little bit. We went to the Marcus Oakdale with the Dream Loungers, which was kind of nice.
Yes.
And had a couple of drinks, and then we went and saw Vacation, so that helps. No, I actually really enjoyed Vacation, but there's just I was telling Keegan that I did something really bad before I see any comedy, which was I watched Blazing Saddles because it was on TV at one point. And that kind of ruins like every other comedy for me, just because like I don't know, that to me is like one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen, and it's just hard for any other comedy to measure up. And then I was just kind of nitpicking in certain places for Vacation as well. I still enjoyed it. I do think though that it suffered from showing too much in the trailer.
Oh yeah, like every trailer suffers from this, and this is something that I really don't hold against the movie because a lot of these trailers, like the filmmakers have zero say in what goes in there.
Yeah, but I mean that whole sequence where they're I don't know how we're not supposed to do like spoiling. I don't know if this is spoiling anything, but
spoil it. It doesn't matter if people see it.
All right, true.
Plus, it's vacation. You can spoil.
It's
very
vacation.
true. Very
Wait,
true.
they go to Wally World?
Well, anyway, but that whole sequence where they're in the hot spring.
Yeah.
That was completely ruined by the trailer.
Yeah.
And I mean that was kind of the same thing with like I didn't see Terminator Genesis, but then the second trailer completely ruins the twist in that movie. I've heard.
Right.
And
yeah.
And like you said, I know they don't have any like say in that, but I mean, it's just kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah, it's the problem of trying to like reveal those trailers. Like, I mean, because you can't do it with like action films, where it's just like, you know, you show bits and pieces here and there. Like, you really have to display that there's a joke here, rather than just, you know, just slight shots of funny stuff happening.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing. Well, I've definitely noticed that lately in trailers is they're giving away a lot, and I've heard some people say that they have started to try to go into movies unsullied, as they're calling it, with not watching any trailers at all, which I would like to try to do, but I mean, because I know what movies I want to see even before I even see a trailer for it, but
it's so difficult nowadays.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but I mean, like, if you can, like, what I try to do is, like, if there's a trailer online, I just try to, like, mute it. That way, I just see, you know, the footage, I see what it looks like, and like, okay, maybe I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best way, because if you leave the audio on, you know, you hear every joke, you hear all the twists they reveal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really tough. But yeah, I try to, as much as I can, like, not watch trailers. And I mean, it's fairly easy. I mean, you'll see like one or two when you go to the movies, but
right.
It's a little bit easier with, I think, like independent films, because you don't see trailers or any marketing for them, so you can go into them cold.
Yeah.
Which absolutely. Is the great thing about like Oscar movies, because you can walk into them cold because there's barely any advertising for them.
Yep.
Which is great.
I wonder if that's actually like intended, like with some, especially some like Oscar films, if like they're intentionally not trying to show anything before like award season or something like that.
Possibly. I think, yeah, sometimes they do that to generate some buzz, so like people will not know much about the film, just be like, oh, I heard this was nominated for an Oscar and people talked about it, and that's how they spread the word of that.
Yeah.
Also because like it means they can spend more money on promoting it for Oscars more than anything.
Right.
Which is a big thing. But yeah, I like being able not to know anything about that. Like, Roger Ebert walked into Fargo thinking it was a Western.
Oh, awesome.
Which would have been cool. Like, I'm curious what trailer you saw.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome.
Just immediately sees a car and he's like, wow, this is different.
So you said you also saw Inside Out. What did you feel about that?
It's really hard for me not to go to a Pixar movie nowadays and not cry.
And that's their goal now.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Even the that lava movie right at the beginning, or the lava,
the short,
like the short, that even got me. Like the song, like I think that the ukulele is literally like one of the saddest instruments to play nowadays, and it's just like that song, and then accompanied with like the sad face on the mountain was just like, it got me, and then when the movie started.
Right after you dried your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I enjoyed Inside Out. I did think that I didn't think it was going to be as emotional as the trailers alluded to be. Mm-hmm. But then it really hits home with certain I've never actually moved, but I've talked to people that have, and it's and it kind of captures that. Out of being out in some place you don't know very well, especially even from a viewpoint of just from your emotions perspective, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I did there were a couple of plot holes. I tried to think of a couple of plot holes. I don't know why I went in cynically like that, but
well, because it's Pixar and Pixar is perfect, so we gotta.
Yeah, exactly. You have to search for them.
There was one plot hole that I thought of, but then somebody I talked to at work, they were telling me that it's completely. I didn't think of something else. It was when they put the core. They put that gum commercial into the thing, and it goes straight up to headquarters. I thought, well, why can't they just put all the core emotions in there, and then, like, you know, the rest of them will be like, oh, quick, grab it. And then all the islands would have been still intact.
I think what they might have... There might have been, like, a fear of that, because, like, she worried that if sadness touches them, then it screws them up, so what if the others touch them there?
And that's exactly the thing that my coworker brought up. She was saying that's, like, we don't want one of her core emotions to be angry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would change the movie drastically.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last episode, but I absolutely love that movie. That movie was fantastic.
It was great. There were a couple of places where I thought I was supposed to cry, but the one part that really got me was when what was the imaginary friend's name?
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. Yeah. When he jumps off of the rocket.
Yeah. Yep.
That was like the one moment where I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you know, I feel like they should start, like, when you enter the theater, when you go to a Pixar film, they should start handing out those little like plastic covered Kleenexes, you know, like dollar ones you can get at the store. Yeah, they should just hand those out to you.
Kleenex packs.
Yep.
Or every cup holder now will actually have a tissue dispenser.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pixar Kleenexes. Why haven't they capitalized on this yet? This is
yeah, you could have printed characters on each Kleenex. And it's good marketing.
The sadness theme.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
And just the tagline for him is, you know you're going to need these.
Here, everybody take one.
Yeah, that film surprisingly hit home, too, because I didn't think about it, too, but yeah, I actually did move when I was 12. So, that hit me a lot more than I thought it did.
Yeah.
So that was the last two that I actually went to. I haven't really, like, I've been kind of out of watching, like, independent stuff as of late, and I really should get back into it, just because for a while there, my dad took me a couple of years ago to the Lagoon Theater in Minneapolis when we saw 13 Assassins.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. And then that was when, like, I saw the trailer for, like, Troll Hunter and
had you seen any Takashi Miike films before you saw 13 Assassins?
No, I hadn't.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that one was that was a good one to jump in on.
Cause yeah, like if you've seen all McKay's films, like I walked into the 13 Assassins, I came out like, yeah, this seems like McKay, and everyone else is like going like, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's that's pretty low for Takashi Miike.
Uh-huh.
No, I still loved it, but then we also saw the trailer for like what was it? Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh.
And like I remember walking out going, when is that one going to be playing? And I didn't get a chance to see that in theaters, but then that one I got on Blu-ray.
Oh, Hobo with a Shotgun.
And my dad's the regular type of moviegoer, so like we popped that in the DVD player, and he looks at me after it's done and says, "What the hell was that?" I'm glad you paid for this one.
So I take it your dad's never seen Trauma film either.
No, not really. No, I don't think he has. No, he was. I mean, I can't fault him for anything. I mean, he's shown me like all these other great movies. He was the one that got me into like Universal monster movies and stuff like that. So, the first movie I remember actually sitting down with him was. Well, actually, the first movie I remember like going to a theater with him and seeing was Rumble in the Bronx.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a fun one.
Yeah, that was my first big movie going experience with just me and my dad.
First Jackie Chan? Or?
Oh, first Jackie Chan movie actually too.
Yeah, I think that was my first Jackie Chan movie too.
Yeah, I think it was my second. I think my first one was First Strike.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. And then after that, I was hooked on like Jackie Chan movies.
Super Cop.
Oh yeah.
Super Cop.
Meet the cop. The cop be stopped.
Oh man.
So suppose we should talk about Pixels.
Don't say that with such disdain.
I'm so excited to talk about Pixels.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go on this one.
Well, we were talking about like being open to it because it was like because Christopher Columbus.
Yep.
was a very visual director, and so like, well, he does great visuals, but it all depends on who's writing it.
Yes.
And then I looked at the credits, and it's like it's two guys who have worked on a lot of other Adam Sandler films.
Tim Hurley.
And then when I went into the film, like it came up with like the Happy Madison production. I was like, oh no, where did this come from?
So, all right. The one thing I will say is, yes, it was an Adam Sandler movie. It's one of the better Adam Sandler productions I've seen in the past few years. Well, it's definitely not Jack and Jill or That's My Boy.
Well, no, but Blended. But that's the same thing as like saying like, because I like Blended, because here's the thing, like I didn't love Blended, but I was like, that's what I'm saying, like at that point I think that's Adam Sandler's best film, because there was no hugely racist jokes, there weren't a lot of fart jokes, there weren't a lot of sexual jokes.
What else?
Yeah, there really wasn't. It was kind of more of just a straight up family movie with his style of humor, but dumbed down a little bit.
Yeah, there's no deer urinating or
grown-ups too.
Well, and
that's like it's kind of like this point. There's no like great Adam Sandler film. There's just like ones you can forgive.
Yeah,
for not.
Yeah, and I guess for this one, I mean, this one had enough nostalgia moments for me that I kind of forgave it for the terrible writing. Like I mean, I enjoyed the effects, and the one thing that really bothered me, though, and it's kind of funny to say that this was the main thing that bothered me, was the fact that Kubert spoke English.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would have had him speak Kubertese and then have subtitles, and no one else actually understood him except for the audience, that would have been a great comedy moment that they could have played off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the main problem with the film, is that it wants to bank on the nostalgia of all these old video games and gets all of them wrong. And I'm not even a gamer. Like, I'll admit that I don't play video games that much, but like anyone with peripheral knowledge of this stuff would look at it and be like, wait, that's not what happens.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like I mean, there's a lot of video game fans who get like mad at these video game movies about how much they get wrong.
Right.
And everything, like small details. I don't really care as long as it works for the story, but this is one of those cases where they're entirely relying on that.
Yeah. And
they just managed to screw it up.
They completely neglect it, yeah.
Like, I don't know, the biggest thing that, I don't know, it got to me for some reason was the fact that, like, one of the characters is known as a cheater for using cheat codes at Pac-Man and Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And that would work except for the fact that there are no cheat codes in Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. And true. Even if there were, it doesn't explain how you're able to use it in a car for these sequences.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, okay, he used cheat codes for Pac-Man when he was a kid. Okay, that's fine, even though, like you said, you can't use cheat codes in those games. Yeah. But also, yeah, it's a real life situation. How the hell could he use a cheat code while he's driving around in downtown New York?
And you look at this like, oh, he wrote them on his glasses like he's taking a test. Yeah, right. And it's like, what is this? It's like scribbling markings.
And if you look at the markings in the glasses, there was letters for like the button hits. So it was like A, B, left, right. And I was like, how the hell was he hitting those inside the car? And then just
the Contra code doesn't work for everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then just
if you play some of the newer games, it works for a lot of them.
It works for some.
Yeah. And then just the basic character moments. I mean, Adam Sandler's character was kind of just there. I mean, there really wasn't anything to him. I mean, yes, they're like, okay, yeah, he was the second best Donkey Kong player in 1982, and he hasn't done anything since then, and now we're just showing him 30 years later, and he works for this tech installation company. And
the nerd company.
Yeah, the nerd, yeah, that's what it was.
Because he's a nerd, even though he hasn't played any video games. Yeah, so let's hire like 1982 video game champions to deal with this.
Right.
It's like, that's the thing, like, why do they need, like, all they really bring to the table is saying, like, oh, this is from, like, the Galaga from 1982. What's different about it? Oh, well, these characters look different. That's what you needed them for? Like, also, what universe does this take place in? Because, like, they don't mention stuff like, you know, like Billy Mitchell or anything like that.
Yeah, they didn't mention Billy Mitchell or any other, like, world record holders or anything like that. And I don't know. I thought the other thing that the movie had going against it was casting Kevin James as the president of the United States.
Yeah, what was up with that? Because they mentioned at some point, like, dude, like, Barack Obama's my man, but, like, wait, so he, like won over Barack Obama somewhere?
Yeah. I was wondering about
what
that.
world does this take place in?
Yeah. Well, and then he said I remember at some point that what was the name of Peter Dinklage's character again? Was it
I just call him Mullet Head.
the Master Blaster or Blaster? What?
Call him Master Blaster.
Yeah, whatever his name was. When he said that, something happened to him in 2003, and he had been in jail for 8 years, and they just got him out of jail, and I was like, wait a minute, but it's 2015 when this movie is being made.
That's how long it's been on the
8
shelf.
years from 2003. Yeah, exactly. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like you add up the math, and like a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like the aliens keep using icons from the 1980s to talk to human beings.
Yeah,
and at one point they use Max Headroom.
Yes, which was the late 80s, early 90s, right?
Yeah, it's like 1980, 84, 85 that Headroom was popular.
Yeah.
And this is based on a probe they sent out in 1982.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering that too. I was like,
I mean,
because I was like, oh, Max Headroom. And I was like, wait a minute.
As much as I love seeing Max Headroom again,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense when he's here.
And it was still the same guy, right, that was doing the voice, I think? Whatever the hell his name is.
I think so, yeah, Peter or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same voice. Yeah, of course, they doctored it up to make everyone look younger.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised they didn't use that on some of these actors.
Yeah. Well, and I did like the fact that they brought into light the fact that the aliens were using weak technology to make these famous people from the 80s speak because the animation they used for that was just absolutely terrible.
I thought the special effects people just didn't care.
Yeah.
just overdub.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after like having seen this and then directly after that seeing Vacation, it makes me worry about, because summer used to be the time to release big comedies that would make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I mean, if these two are leading the way for what summer comedies are.
That's the thing. I don't think they are. I think what we're seeing this summer is sort of like a changing of the guard. I mean, because you're starting to see like up and comers like Paul Feig when he did Spy.
Yeah.
Which is a great comedy and made decent money at the box office, and people really loved that film.
Yeah.
And he's fairly new, and there's like some fairly new people in it. That one's taken off. There's a lot of other smaller comedies that are taken off, and you're seeing films like Pixels and Ted 2 not do that well at the box office. Mm-hmm. You're seeing like some of these like older comedy people like just sort of like being displayed like they're not doing that well.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder like why Adam Sandler keeps. Well, I know why he does it because he makes these like smaller budgets, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, because his movies actually make money because they don't cost that much to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised. Like Blended only cost like $30 million and made as much as it did. Although Jack and Jill I think was something like $70 million for some reason.
Well, that's because of Al Pacino.
Was it Al Pacino? Really?
Well, I would think so. For him to be in that type of movie, I would think they'd have to pay him quite a bit.
Probably.
But yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with him with his whole Netflix deal, with Sandler's Netflix deal. Because he's got he's slated to do 4 films with them. His first one's going to be a Western comedy. Right. And that's the one that's had all the controversy on set.
Yeah, was it the Ridiculous Six?
Yeah, Ridiculous Six, yeah. Yep.
Which,
well, at least it'll be on Netflix.
Like, I don't want to go into, like, Adam Sandler's films hating them, but they don't leave much hope at this point.
Yeah.
Because the last film I saw him in before was a little independent film he was in called The Cobbler.
Yeah.
And that film had a great director behind it and everything.
Yeah.
And it falls so flat on its face.
Yeah. I actually chose not to watch it because I remember you telling me about it.
Oh man, it has one of the biggest FU endings I have ever seen.
Really?
Like, I'm just going to spoil it now, just because there's no reason anyone should see this film. So the whole purpose of The Cobbler is that he's this shoe repair guy who finds this magical shoe repair machine in his basement that allows him to, whenever he steps into someone's shoes, he can become them after he repairs it.
Okay.
So naturally, he exploits this to to become like a kid and get in trouble and become like a woman and do all this crazy stuff.
Okay.
And at one point, like if he repairs like, for some reason, if he repairs like some dead person's shoes, he become like a zombie.
What?
That comes out of nowhere, and it's only just to scare some kids.
Okay.
So all this happens, and there's some stupid plot about him trying to like save the block or the rec center or whatever. All this.
Yeah.
So
but
like every Adam Sandler plot nowadays?
Like every Adam Sandler plot, it's like, okay, they're not really using this that creatively, but whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't bother me. But then the ending came. And the ending reveals that his next door neighbor to his business, there's a barber shop, he's played by Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
But it turns out that Steve Buscemi is actually Adam Sandler's dad, who is played by Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
So yeah, like Steve Buscemi like pulls back the mask, and Dustin Hoffman's like, "I'm your father. I've been here this whole time." It's like,
what?
Bro, you've been my whole life. It's like, I need to show you something. And then I kid you not, this actually happens in the film. They go down the barber's chair into the secret cave where Dustin Hoffman has been secretly cobbling together all these shoes of famous people in this great big gallery. It's like, damn, why have you been doing this? It's like, you have to be the repairer of souls, son. You have to be the cobbler.
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
a superhero. And just in case that wasn't enough, they go to this sweet souped-up car that has an underground tunnel that they can drive all around New York.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Nothing in the film has led up to this at all. Nothing. And it just comes out of nowhere. Like,
wow.
Like the director just gave up. It's like, screw it. It's a superhero film now.
Everybody loves those nowadays.
And that didn't even see like a wide theatrical release, right? That was
No,
it was,
it
really
was
limited.
was
very
that straight
small.
to... Yeah, I thought... Oh, it did have a release? Or?
It had a very, very small independent release.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Wow.
And then it went straight to DVD, and
Now I kind of want to see it just to see that ending.
oh, it's gonna be one of those like legendarily bad like twist endings, like Remember Me or something like that.
Oh yeah. Sadly, I remember that movie.
Have you seen the ending to Remember Me?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
It's just like Robert Pattinson, horrible, like whiny teenager film, and then pull back when he's in an office and he's in the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, on September 11th. Yeah, that was the big twist. It was just this horrible, just really just bad romantic, well, not even romantic comedy, it was a romantic drama.
Yeah.
And it just went absolutely nowhere, and then they end the movie with that.
Oh, my God.
And Bond was there.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the best part of that because he's
Yeah.
seen as like the dad who doesn't care.
Yeah.
But all these angry speeches he's making are making sense.
Yeah.
He's saying like, stop being an a-hole. Do something with your life.
Yeah. And he finally decides to do something with his life, and he's in the Twin Towers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bad movie. Oh, man.
I just remember seeing the box of that movie and like all of the like I just kind of stayed away from any Robert Pattinson movie just because I was not a fan of Twilight or anything like that. And like any Robert Pattinson movie, I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
There has been one decent one. There's a film he was in, little one called Map of the Stars.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that one.
It's not bad. It's one of those points like I think Robert Pattinson is at this point in his career when he's not that big a name.
Yeah.
So now he has to take good roles now.
Yeah.
Right.
Now he has to find good stuff.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it's not a great film. It's kind of meanders. It's kind of like a satire of celebrities trying to poke fun at like their mental illnesses and why they can't get over certain things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sort of darkly satirical, but the actors are all great in it. So.
Okay.
Great little film.
So I know that you saw Vacation as well.
Yeah.
I saw Vacation. How did you feel about it?
I actually really dug it, and I think I'm at like a point in my life where if I keep seeing these types of films like road trip films or Terminator films, that like if any of them can pull something new out or try something different or just try to make me laugh at some point.
Yeah.
Then I'm all aboard for that. I was kind of on board with it with Vacation too, because again, like it is following the similar template of like road trip movies, but I like the fact that it seems a little bit more controlled. Like one of the things that I'm really getting tired of with a lot of comedies lately is having leave the camera on improv.
Yeah.
Where it's just like there'll be like a base script, and then they'll just leave the camera on and just have the actors just keep riffing until like the joke is completely dead and buried.
So the Apatow formula.
Yeah, like Apatow and McKay films,
Yep.
like Anchorman 2 is legendary for leaving the camera on too long,
Yeah.
for being over 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
and even
pointless.
That movie, like, I thought it was over right when like they went to that lighthouse.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I thought it was
the
over.
whole blind thing, and the shark, and
I thought they were just going to end it right there, and I would have been happy there.
It kept going.
And then it was like another hour into the movie before like anything happened, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And even like comedies that I like right now, like I really dug Spy, but there are a few moments where like, you know, they just leave the camera on and let him riff, which I didn't mind because it was less like they didn't leave it on until it was completely dead. But I'm really getting tired of these where they just leave the improv up as long as they can.
Yeah. Trainwreck did that a lot.
Trainwreck did it a lot, yeah. So I was kind of looking forward to Vacation in that it was going to be more controlled. Like it felt like most of the comedic bits were all controlled. Like they never just let anyone just go off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was all set to script. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, for me, I laughed quite a bit watching this movie, but my problem with it is I felt like they were trying too hard to go for the gross out laughs than just the pure road trip laughs that you got from the original Vacation film.
Right.
And I don't know, I felt like Ed Helms, I usually like him, but I felt like his character was so one-dimensional, and a lot of the characters in the movie you never really got to know. They just kind of dropped you in, and they're like, okay, well, this little kid's a total jerk, and you're not going to like this kid at all.
Yeah.
And they built up plot points that never really went anywhere, like with the teenager and the kind of love interest. I mean, the last thing you see of him is setting his relationship status on Facebook to in a relationship, and that's the last thing you hear about him and that girl.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
To be fair, that's probably the last that he would.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
But
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But in the end credits, you see him with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they're sitting by a fire and Dad's standing over him with that creepy look on his face.
I thought that was actually the funniest part of the movie was the opening credit sequence with the vacation photos, the awkward vacation photos, and then how they ended with that as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one thing that really worked in this movie, I thought, was all of the cameos. Like Charlie Day and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And the four state patrolmen.
Yeah.
I loved that scene. That scene was funny.
And that's the thing. I love the fact that this film does cameos without them being, oh, look, here's this person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, here's a character that we can have.
Exactly. And it was another movie where I got to laugh at Michael Pena, which, you know, that's two movies this summer where he's just made me just crack up.
Exactly.
He's good at that.
He's really good at that.
I didn't expect to see Norman Reedus. Like,
that was a great cameo.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Like when he steps down, I'm like, oh my god, that's different.
Yeah, and see, those were the moments that worked for me because I found those points funny, but the actual family, the main characters you're supposed to be following, when it was just them, the jokes with them, I felt that they fell a little flat for me anyway.
I kind of was a little bit taken back by, I guess, and it might be the problem that I have with a lot of the vacation movies, was that just the recasting of the kids. Because there's no continuity between any of them because of, you know, Ed Helms is, I think he tried to be a little bit too hard to be like Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rusty was his own character in those movies, and I just thought, you know, I thought he would go his own way with it, but it felt like he was trying to be, you know, the Chevy Chase character throughout those entire movies.
Right.
But, I mean, and I thought Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo were going to be in the movie, like, at the beginning.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
it's more a cameo.
Yeah.
Which,
and see, that's kind of the problem though. Is almost no one can play the lovable idiot as well as Chevy Chase did in those original films.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah, especially the first three.
Yeah,
I did like the fact though that a lot of these characters did actually have somewhat of arcs, as opposed to like these road trip movies, was just like, you know, establish the archetype, and then there's one central event that they have to get to.
Right.
That has to do that. And then they just solve them all randomly. This one actually dug how there was actually a little bit of a relationship. It's not a big trait, but like there's a little bit of like a worrying about the marriage and like the sibling rivalry had a bit of an arc to it.
Yeah,
which I think that's the problem. Like it trumped over the boyfriend girlfriend arc because it was more about him just beating the crap out of his brother more than anything.
Yeah,
which was funny. I love the fact that it didn't actually culminate in some like big like, oh, I'm gonna beat the crap out of him. It's like, no, he's gonna do as best as he can.
Yeah, the best as he can. And that scene was hilarious.
I think that's the tone of the film that I love so much, is that it's gonna get to this point where the characters are going to get what they want, but only as best as they can.
As best as they can. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Which is generally the tone of the National Lampoon Vacation films, which I'm glad they stuck with.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I will say is it did make me revisit the original, because it had been a while since I'd seen the original Vacation, and that movie is still pretty damn funny.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I love the fact that it retains like some of it, like how they give like a cartoon logic to technology.
Yeah.
Because like you see the original, like they're planning out the trip, and for some reason like they have like Pac-Man on there trying to eat their route.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And then same thing here. Like they have like this weird car that has all these like different functions.
Oh my God.
The GPS speaks in Korean.
The Prancer.
The GPS was like literally the funniest thing for me.
That was hilarious.
Movie. No reason any of it would make sense, but it's just hilarious.
And all of the random buttons on the key fob.
We're not gonna hit the swastika.
I still want to know what the swastika button does.
That was good.
And none of them have any use for like that is useful. One dropped the bumper. The other one blew out the windows. And then the last one blows up the car.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of that bit from The Simpsons. It's like, well, where does this car come from? A country that no longer exists.
Right.
Put it in H.
Then the what was it? The plug that comes out.
The plug that doesn't retract.
Yeah.
The two gas tanks.
Yeah, the two gas tanks.
Oh,
it says 2, so it's double the fuel. Well, no, it's really just actually the same amount.
Why don't you just have one big tank?
Yeah, it had enough moments where I was laughing pretty hard. But.
And I guess I like that it was trying to be very, very heavily R-rated.
Oh yeah,
Because like you mentioned, like you saw Blazing Saddles going in, and often we talk about how there's no way they could do a film like Blazing Saddles.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a film like Vacation. I'm trying to think like if can we do R-rated comedies like this anymore? Like, can we have them?
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit tougher when you got to pitch them to like the PG-13 audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think the big thing is can you make them marketable? Can you actually because the whole point now is being able to make money off of them.
Right.
So how do you make it marketable to a wide enough audience without offending at least some people?
Which makes me wonder why they took off the National Lampoon was because of the stigma of National Lampoon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before like they took it off Vegas Vacation just because I think they didn't like it, but now I think it's more just because don't want to be as associated with National Lampoon right now.
Well, yeah, because I mean the majority of their stuff has been just direct to DVD releases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forgettable DVD releases.
Every single one of them. Yeah.
Are they still making movies?
Possibly. They for some reason they've still been making vacation movies, like even after Vegas Vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the Christmas Vacation one with Cousin Eddie.
Christmas Vacation 2.
Yeah. I never saw that.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Their budget.
Isn't that the last one that the last movie that anyone has seen? What's his name?
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Well, pretty much. They actually planned for him to have a cameo in this movie, but then he got arrested, so he couldn't show.
Was that pre or post his little rant on YouTube?
I think it was post.
It's post.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, which one?
Yeah, I was going to say. Which one are you referring to? There's quite a few.
Which one was it there?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one with the mask.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it was just after that.
That's the only one I saw.
Yeah. There's multiples. Yeah, and I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I actually enjoyed it. It's just that there were, like, I picked the wrong time to go see it with... the night before watching Blazing Saddles, and I mean, it's just like you can't. I shouldn't have done that. I mean, it's
it's like going to see Citizen Kane. It's like I'm going to go see Spectre. And I'm going to compare the two.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one put me in this mindset, so... Yeah, which I actually haven't... I've been trying to stay away as much as I can from trailers for Spectre.
Right. Oh, see, I haven't watched any of them just because of that. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't seen Casino Royale?
I saw Casino Royale.
Okay. I
saw Quantum of Solace.
Okay.
I've seen all of them. I've seen all. I love Daniel Craig as Bond.
Yeah.
And I just... It's... just because he has that... he takes that gritty aspect to it. And my dad and I were actually talking about this, that he takes more of a tone of the books than...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because the books are... He's more of a, just kind of more gritty and just kind of, all right, let's just get the job done.
Yeah.
And not such a womanizer.
Mm-hmm. Still is.
Well, yeah, but he's Bond. He has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to revisit Skyfall. I think I've only seen that, like, once.
Skyfall, I rewatched that just the other day, and I thought that's also a visually very... just a different Bond movie.
There are a lot of shots that stick out in your mind.
Yeah,
like that whole skyscraper fight.
Yeah,
that fight sequence was really eye catching with the backdrop with that digital sign.
Yeah,
I just thought that was really cool, and
you can't go wrong with having Javier Bardem as your villain.
Yeah. Exactly. What was the other scene that the one? Okay, it's stupid, but I still think that like the one moment that personifies Bond for me was from Skyfall, where he's on the train and he uses that construction thing to...
Oh, the crane?
Yeah. He opens it up, jumps down, and then fixes his cuff.
Yeah, just kind of adjusts his... Yeah, that was awesome.
In my opinion, that personifies Bond right there.
Yeah.
A bullet wound in his shoulder and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And plus with that, I mean, was it Skyfall that they first introduced Q?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They met in the art museum.
Yeah, that's right. Moneypenny and
that's right. Moneypenny wasn't introduced until that one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of restructuring they did in Skyfall.
Yeah,
sort of trying to change it out, saying like, "Here's the new Bond, our new characters."
Okay, now have you guys have all heard that theory about Bond, right?
Which theory?
The theory that 007 is actually just a code name and James Bond is just a code name. That there's multiple guys that have gone with the same code name.
Some people have said that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Now, do you think that that's kind of what they're trying to prelude to in these new movies, or?
Depends, like, how they want to go. Like, I don't know. I get the feeling that, like, Bond is just sort of like this continuous story that just, has, like time skips in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, where Bond is more or less just an ingredient, and then you build it up through there.
Yeah.
I get the feeling more with, like, Daniel Craig's arc is that they're actually trying to make it closer to the books and give some more continuity between them.
Yeah.
Like Quantum of Solace directly follows Casino Royale.
Yeah, it was a straight up sequel.
And I get the feeling they're going to do that with Spectre, the way they dig deeper into his past, and they kind of did that with Skyfall. So
yeah,
there's going to be an interesting little arc here.
See, I've always felt that they should have treated the Indiana Jones franchise like the Bond franchise, and have an actor play that character for a certain amount of movies, and then switch them out.
That'd be cool.
No, but instead we got a nuclear fridge.
Yeah. Well, it was lined with lead.
Oh, wow. Excuse me.
Yeah, but...
so are his bones.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But, and I kind of feel like that's exactly what they did with Fury Road. I mean, they just... They're like, this is the same Max character. This is just a story from his adventures in the wasteland. Mm-hmm. They don't tell you when or what movie it follows. They're just like, this is a story from that.
And you see, that was kind of nice just because I've only seen like bits and pieces of each of the Mad Max movies.
Blasphemy.
I know. And
except Thunderdome, it's okay. You don't
yeah, I've heard I don't need to watch Thunderdome.
You can only watch half of Thunderdome.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which half?
the half where they don't go to the cave. And...
Yes. Yeah. If you completely skip the cave, you're good.
All right. So no, but I thought that was really nice that when they did Fury Road, it was just kind of one of those movies you could just jump into.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't need like all of this setup because that was my big focus or big worry about going into a new Mad Max movie was because I haven't seen all of the originals.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, when I took my wife to see it, that was her first Mad Max movie. She had never seen any of the other ones, and she was like, "Do you think I need to see it?" I was like, "No, we'll see what happens." And she was like, are the other ones that good? Well, if they were made in the 80s, they're still good.
Do you like Tina Turner?
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's watch Road Warrior. We're going to give you that one.
And you know what was weird was that when I came home, Road Warrior was on, and then my dad changed the channel. I want to watch this.
Just walk away. Yeah, I'd like to see that happen with future Mad Max films, but we'll see.
And I think that it's kind of odd that now... both of you have seen both all of the Mad Max movies. I know. Was there a disconnect between Tom Hardy's interpretation and Mel Gibson's?
I think not as much because he's playing it mostly straight how you should play Mad Max, which is just play it like straight, stoic, like you've got demons in your closet but you don't reveal them that much. Yeah, which is what Gibson usually did best. I mean, it was a little bit more emotional and heavier in the first one, just because that was like his origin. Yeah. But in later introductions, he's very much like the one in Road Warrior and Thunderdome. Yeah, I was going to say Road Warrior especially. He kind of only spoke when he needed to, which is exactly how Hardy played it. Yeah, and you guys also heard about what that Tom Hardy apologized to the director for. He like on the set. Apparently, he was like a complete tool. Just because he didn't know what his vision was, and then when he actually saw the movie, he's like, "Oh my god, I am sorry," because that was just fabulous. Yeah, it's one of those things where they want to like. It's popular now to react too quickly to stuff. Yeah, like the real life wrestler from Foxcatcher said the same thing. It's like, "Oh, this movie's gonna be terrible," and then saw the film. It's like, "Oh wow, this is the best film." Yeah. I really try not to be cynical when I walk into a movie theater, though. It's hard not to sometimes. I mean, especially with like we were talking earlier about Adam Sandler movies. Mm-hmm. But I mean, especially because like older Adam Sandler movies are so like they built up that was like my humor when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But now it's just hard to like, oh geez, he's in another movie? Okay. Well, and he's still doing the same thing. Well, yeah. That's the thing, like he was funny when, he was in like, his late 20s, early 30s doing this stuff. Yeah. Now he's approaching 50. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you kind of got to move on. Yeah, and it's only like every once in a while when he's working on someone else's script, like Hotel Transylvania is a great example of that. That's a perfect example because that's one where you can keep him far, 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 far away from the script and the directors. Yep, you're just like, do your funny voices. That's totally cool. You can have your friends come in. They can do their voice work. But we've got this. We got the script. Don't worry about it. Because I love the whole Hotel Transylvania. That first one. The first one was great. That's the great thing. Like that was in like production for years before he got in on it. Yeah. And that's a great thing. Like with animated film, you can't go back in and like make quick changes like that. They have to be made by by everyone involved. Yep. So that's one of those things, like if you bury them deep enough in a project, you won't screw it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was one of those movies where when I originally heard about it, like before I had seen any trailers, I was like, oh man, Adam Sandler's going to put his hand in animation again. After 8 crazy nights. And I was like, oh no, but then I saw that Genndy Tartakovsky was directing and he was behind it. I was like, oh, okay. Now it's complete. And that's the thing, like I was really excited for this film and everyone's like why, it's Adam Sandler. It's like dude, it's Genndy Tartakovsky. Yep. He will make this work. He will find a way to turn this into something better than it should be. Yeah. And he absolutely did. Yep. So hopefully 2 will be all right. Yeah, I hope so. Is Genndy doing that one too? Is he directing it as well? Yeah. Okay. He originally wanted to do Popeye before that, but nice. Oh, jeez. But he did like a great screen test for Popeye, but sounds like they weren't interested in it. So, So he ended up going ahead with Hotel Transylvania 2, and then he said that he wants to do a Samurai Jack movie. But I'm not sure how that's going to take place because I don't know. Like his Popeye test was amazing, and I'm wondering if he can't sell that. I'm not sure he's going to do Samurai Jack. Well, I mean, once the Peanuts comes out and everybody starts raving about that, I'm sure that all these other older cartoon properties are going to get their own little. Well, maybe. I mean, like the older cartoons have been like a very kind of well for some of these like animated, like not so much with straight animation, but just digging them up for characters, like films like Yogi Bear and Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Smurfs.
True, very true.
Yeah. Which, did you know there's a 4th Alvin and the Chipmunks movie coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea until the other day. I was just kind of surfing and I came across Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Chip, and I was like, oh god.
Is Jason?
Yes, Jason Lee's attached.
No.
Yeah. I didn't even think the last one made that much money.
It didn't.
The Czech one? Yeah.
It didn't.
And it was like 4 years ago when that was made. I don't know, whatever.
Then I don't know, probably made more money with marketing.
Yeah. Well, they're already rebooting the Smurfs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to have to now.
What was that? What was the other movie that I kept hearing about that's coming out? The Emojis movie is going to be like. You guys heard about that, right?
No.
Okay, there was a bidding war between three production companies, and Fox won out, I guess, or I think it's Fox, but they were talking about it on a podcast.
Fox is scrounging for properties.
Yeah,
right now.
so there's no. I think they said there's no script, but it's just the idea. So
the idea.
Yeah.
Emojis.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's like the Angry Birds movie. That's been.
Oh God.
Yeah.
In production. Well,
they don't talk. They just throw themselves at
I
things.
don't know.
But there's drama to it.
Oh, is there? Oh, okay.
There's suspense.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be something like Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Oh man, if there was like a shot similar to the missile drop scene with one of the birds, that would be amazing.
It's that eagle that you have to pay for.
Oh man, that'd be so great.
They're gonna get platinum dupes.
Oh god.
Then we got a movie.
Yep. And Michael Bay's just like, don't worry, I'm just producing it. Yeah, well.
I'm just. It's like, it's not my movie, he says as he throws more money at it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Throw some money at it.
Is there a way we can make the turtles look more like Transformers? Is it possible?
What if they were 10 feet tall?
Fans already got mad at me about trying to make them aliens, so
Okay.
we can make them look as close to the Transformers as we can.
It's this. I watched like a good half of that movie, but then near the end, I realized it's the same plot of the Amazing Spider-Man, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because the villain's trying to release...
yeah, he's trying to release the toxin up on the top of a building, and they
Oh, yeah.
have a fight scene up there.
Yep.
It's the old format.
And of all the movies to steal a plot point from.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Yeah.
Great one.
I don't know what to think about Spider-Man nowadays.
Well, there was the news that they dropped, I think it was earlier this week, that the script, the tone they're going for, is they want to go for like a John Hughes film style tone.
Okay.
Which
That could work.
I think it could work because Marvel's doing really well at using like different styles of films to introduce their characters.
Yeah, but I mean, we want to have it John Hughes, but we don't want to go into emo Spider-Man again.
Right, but I mean,
No,
he
but
is a
with Jo-
teenager.
Yeah, but with
True.
with John Hughes, with like a John Hughes type film, you'd have more fully realized
Yes.
characters from that. So in other words, if they're going to make like the high school Peter Parker, they're going to make it actually feel like he's in high school, not
Yeah.
just what someone thinks is going on in high school.
Yeah, not just the forced high school scenes that we got in the first.
You mean the one where the Flash Thompson was played by the big werewolf from True Blood?
Yeah, yeah, because that was in the Raimi one, and then they did the same thing with Flash Thompson in the Amazing Spider-Man with the whole basketball scene and all that. And I mean, even their dialogue, I was like, I doubt kids in high school talk like that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you watched any MTV nowadays?
Well, yeah. No, not really.
Do kids watch MTV now?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think so. I thought about checking out the new Scream TV series, but that was about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah,
I watched like one episode and it was okay, but
yeah,
the new Ghostface looks kind of cool.
yeah. I saw the image of that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And the other bit of movie news I saw this week that I was kind of excited about is the fact that Robert Rodriguez is going to be headlining a live-action Jonny Quest film.
That's what I heard. Yeah, it's one of those projects that have been in the pipeline for years. Like he keeps on
Right.
saying, like, "Oh, I'm going to do Jetsons one of these days."
Yeah, yeah,
And now he's just getting around to do Jonny Quest.
yeah. I mean, I've always loved Jonny Quest. I loved the '60s series and also the '90s update. I love that too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the '90s.
Just I don't know. It's just a fun character. It's a fun set of characters, and I read something online that said the potential of this property is the fact that yes, it is a kid doing these things, but it's not. He's not like a secret agent or anything like that. He's just dropped into these situations and he has to react to what's going on.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a self-aware character, which makes it kind of more of like a Tintin type of feel. I don't know. I think it could be really good, and it could be a nice shift for Rodriguez.
Well, I love the heck out of Jonny Quest, so yeah I'm definitely going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other Hollywood news that I kind of wanted to talk about was that Guillermo del Toro, he basically said what happened with the timeline of why he's not working on like Justice League Dark or Hellboy 3.
Hellboy 3.
Because of Pacific Rim 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Pacific Rim was like one of those, it was like one of the first newer movies nowadays that actually I was like, I felt like a kid being really excited for a movie again, just because I dig giant monster movies.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, because every time I was looking at like all these newer action movies, or for a while there, I'm like, hey, how come no giant monsters are attacking anymore?
Yeah.
And then like somebody was saying, somebody tricked me and said, hey, they're making a new Power Rangers movie, and here's the trailer. And I'm like, oh, all right.
Not that trailer, but yeah.
No, not that one. But, yeah, I love Pacific Rim, but as much as I want to see Pacific Rim 2, I still would love to see a conclusion to the Hellboy series first.
Absolutely.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at the jump in quality from Hellboy to Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. Like, just there was much more. It was a more controlled storyline. There was more character development. It was, I don't know, just an overall well polished movie, and I felt that was going to carry over into the conclusion of the trilogy. And that movie was released
2008.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah. So wow, getting close to 10 years here on that one. But and Ron Perlman's like 64.
Yeah.
65. He's up there.
Well, okay, so we're going to have to do the same thing that they did to Michael Douglas in Ant-Man for Ron Perlman.
Well, the thing is the guy's used to being overloaded with prosthetic makeup.
Yeah,
so,
he's already caked down with makeup.
Yeah. That'll be fine. It's just, can he actually handle filming it? But I mean, if Harrison Ford can crash a plane and still get on the set of the Millennium Falcon, I think
Didn't they crush his like him in one side of one of the doors too?
Yeah. But I told you, man, his bones are made of lead.
Very true. Very true.
But I'm
think
actually
the
really
fridge
excited.
was of special effects. No, that was that.
It was actually in the fridge.
Same with the prairie dogs. Those were real too.
I had no idea how they got their hands on a nuclear bomb so that they could do that.
But see, speaking of Del Toro, I'm actually excited to see how Crimson Peak comes out.
Oh yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Because I mean, I'm a little on the fence because like we discussed before, mainstream horror is kind of dead for the most part. But I mean, this like the production, it even looks like an old Hammer film.
Yeah,
which is what I'm really interested in. And he's done great horror stuff, especially if you've seen like The Devil's Backbone or Kronos. I mean, both of his earlier horror stuff was great. Or Pan's Labyrinth.
I was about to say Pan's Labyrinth is still scary.
Yeah.
Well, being able to do like an original film like that too, I think is a big thing. Because we were talking about how commercial horror is dead when it's trying to bank.
Yeah.
On stuff. Like if it's trying to like bank off of like a true story or a previous horror film or a board
past
game.
franchise or a board game. Yes.
Then you get stuff like Ouija.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, what was the other one that I saw recently? Was Oculus?
Oculus.
Yeah,
the Killer Mirror movie.
Yeah, that one was strange. But then again, I also just watched Insidious 2 for the first time. Recently.
Yeah.
And that one was creepy. I wouldn't say it was as scary as the first one.
It didn't work as well as the first one.
No, the first one was really, really creepy. And then, have either of you guys seen Sinister?
Oh yeah,
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, was that worth watching? Or?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really dug it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sinister's really good because it did have a couple mainstream actors in it, but it felt more like an independent horror film.
Okay.
And just, I would say watch that movie just for the sound design alone.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, the soundtrack is crazy.
Yeah, the amount of effort they put into like having these weird like 8mm footage of all these like deaths.
Yeah,
are,
it has some really disturbing sequences, which totally help the movie.
Yeah, because I saw the trailers for the second one, and I was like, God, I didn't even see the first one.
Yeah.
it's
But
very cool.
going back to Oculus really quick, because I hated that movie so much.
So let's go back to it.
Yeah, the point that I just literally just checked out from that movie was when they're filming and the lead actress is basically telling you everything, showing you these pictures, and directly talking to the audience, telling you a story, and it's just static camera. You're just staring at her, and she's just talking to you. I was like, really? This is what we get? Oh man, that movie made me so mad.
This is how little the filmmakers think of you.
This is like they're just not trying. There's like, yeah, we're just gonna talk to you. It's story time for the next 10 minutes. We're just gonna let her speak to you. I was like, really? Oh man, that movie pissed me off so much.
Wasn't that a WWE film too, though?
Yeah, it was through their production company.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we all know they're
Come
they're
on.
known for their high quality films,
Oh,
like See No Evil and
yeah, I was about to say you didn't like See No Evil or See No Evil 2?
and the new Leprechaun remake, which I have not taken a chance
Oh
on.
God, starring Hornswoggle.
Uh-huh.
Then what was that? You didn't like 12 Rounds or
No, well, and they also did that one that didn't even have a WWE star in it. It was the one.
Halle Berry movie?
Yeah, the one with Halle Berry where she was the
No, it had one
911
person.
Carl. Oh, okay.
It had a guy that no longer wrestles.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember the name of that movie. That movie was bad too.
I think it was called The Call.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Man, that movie was bad.
Yeah.
They're trying, Keegan.
I
They're
know,
trying.
I know.
It's hard to make a film without their money in it.
Oh, did you? Okay, so heard a lot about the Stephen King It remake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been going back and forth, in and out of production.
Yeah.
But the newest, the latest rumor is that the director of Mama is trying to
Really?
helm it. That was that was the last I heard. That was like last week when I saw that.
Oh, well, then the last thing I heard on it was that the kid that plays the jerk in every new like kids movie.
Yeah, and he was in We're the Millers.
Yeah, he's gonna play the
Pennywise.
Pennywise.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I recently just sat down and watched it again. It has not aged well.
No,
It doesn't.
no, especially that ending. The last 45 minutes of that movie are really difficult to
Yeah,
watch.
it's fun to follow for like the first hour.
Yep.
And then the next hour it drags.
yeah,
Well,
it
and-
really drags.
I mean, you were the one that actually taught me that I first realized that Tim Curry has never been a good guy in any movie he's ever been in.
Not really.
But his performance in that was just...
Oh, he's the reason to watch that
yeah,
movie.
he's the only reason to
Yeah.
watch that movie.
Yeah.
But that's kind of pardon the expression, but those are big clown shoes to fill.
Nice. Yeah, I love the idea of an It remake because I think there's a lot of story in that book that wasn't used in the original miniseries that could totally work, but I just don't think it could work in a film or even two films. I think it needs to be an HBO miniseries.
Ooh. That'd
Yeah.
work.
I would love to see it as an HBO miniseries. 5 episodes would be perfect.
Well, anything would work as an HBO miniseries.
Yeah, that's
At this
true.
point, yeah.
Westworld. I'm looking forward to that
I
one.
mean, Future World.
Yeah, future. Yeah, whatever they choose to do, it's going to be good. Plus, they have Ed Harris attached, so
That's good.
yeah.
He kind of looks like Yul Brynner.
Yeah, he does a
Good
little
deal.
bit. Yeah.
Boy. So, I guess we could end this by we kind of do this in the first part, but I was trying to find is there anything you'd recommend right now that's out on video or VOD?
Yeah, I just recently saw something, and I guess the icing on the cake is the fact that it was just added to Netflix as well. The Guest.
Oh yeah,
Holy crap!
The Guest is like that sleeper hit from last year that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah, and the thing is I watched the trailer for it, I read people talking about it, but still, it wasn't ruined for me. Like, I kind of went in as cold as possible, and that movie just floored me.
Yeah.
It was such a great 80s throwback to those action thrillers, with a little touch of horror on the end of it, and that 80s synth score just totally set the tone for it, and it was just so well acted and shot. I was blown away by that movie.
Now, I'm sorry, who's in that one?
No one really big name. The main actor was in Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Yep. And it was it's just really well done, and it just shows that the director and writing duo of Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, I think.
Yeah, I think Simon Barrett.
Yeah. Well, because they did You're Next 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then did The Guest, and they just the whole 80s throwback style is just coming back in a big way, and this movie just nailed it. Like it reminded me a lot of Drive.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities to it. And I just really enjoyed it. It was a great movie.
Yeah, they're a great duo. I mean, I didn't even like Your Next that much, but it was an amazing concept.
Yeah.
Like they know how to make stuff look original and different.
Yeah, I felt that movie was a little overhyped.
It was overhyped just because everyone's saying dude, it's not like any other horror film, and it's not. It's got a good premise. It's just kind of goofy.
Yeah, and it jumped back and forth over that line of comedy and horror.
Yeah.
A little too much, because I mean some of the performances you're like, okay, are they going for comedy here, or are they going for sincerity? And but yeah, this one just nailed it. Like, it was just that running tension throughout the entire movie, because there's something off about this guy, but you don't necessarily know what.
Right.
And they don't even fully explain it, which is what I really liked. Yeah, I thought it was really well done. That's my recommendation for sure.
Okay. I'm trying to think of stuff I've been watching recently that I could recommend, because there's so much. I saw Get Hard. I wouldn't recommend that.
You didn't?
Why not?
I guess what I'd recommend.
See, I just watched this one too. I kind of want to hear your interpretation on this.
It would be funny if it was actually going to go the full Trading Places route, which is what it seemed like. Like, they set it up okay, this is kind of going to be like a modern Trading Places. This is going to be cool.
Yeah.
But then, for no reason at all, they skip over to this prison training plot.
Yeah.
and that, I thought okay, this is going to be the bulk of the film. That's going to be it. It's no, it's just filler in the middle between this Trading Places plot that we're not really going to explain or develop that much.
No.
Yeah, they really kind of jumped around in that plot-wise in that movie.
I've been noticing this in a lot of films I've been seeing lately. It's they have this tension to have this middle filler that's supposed to be the main draw of the film, and then just tack on the plot as bookends.
Yeah.
I've been seeing this in a lot of films lately, and I'm getting really tired of it.
No, I totally agree, and that's kind of what I got from the trailer, because the majority of the trailer was all about the prison training part, and I was like, okay, well, that can't be the whole movie.
No.
Where the hell else is this movie going to go?
And that's the thing, you can see why they do that, because when they actually get to finding out the mystery of okay, why is he going to prison? They solve it in a minute.
Yeah.
They solve it in a minute. That's the whole reason they do that. Just because if they solved it, the movie would only be 20 minutes long.
Yeah, and he's completely right. They find out what the mystery is and solve it in the same scene.
And they play up oh, isn't it funny how it was so simple and we didn't just do it? It's no, because you could have done that from the beginning. The fact that no one had to question it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess as a mild recommendation, though, I would say I went into this film not ready to enjoy it, but the remake of The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
I was wondering how that was.
It was kind of interesting. It's played up kind of meta in the way that it takes place, they set it up as oh, these are true events at a town, the town that it takes place in, where the killer with the baghead came around.
Yeah.
It's played in it. It's played up so that every year they play it around Halloween. It's all spooky.
Yes.
And then there is someone around killing everybody, and it's another mystery of who done it. And they kind of talk to the filmmaker oh, how did this happen and all that.
Okay.
But they don't capitalize on it as much. They more or less try to develop it more as a gritty mystery, very savage horror. So it's not an amazing film. I don't think it blows the original out of the water, but it's it's kind of interesting. I didn't mind seeing it.
Okay, so in this one, the original film actually exists?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it opens up with a whole bunch of people that are driving for like the annual screening of it.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
And then you're trying to figure out, who's in on it, because there's all these different characters, and there's like a whole Christian group saying like oh, you're terrible, you're focusing on these killers and giving them power.
Right.
So kind of interesting. I mean, it gets to crazy mystery twist at the end. Not insane, but just kind of like, oh, okay, was that character, I guess. So.
Huh.
Nice.
So not bad. I mean, it's very little film, so it wasn't like a huge horror film.
Yeah.
Which is what I was looking forward to, because if it's an indie horror film, that means it's outside of bigger influences.
Right.
Nice.
And that one's streaming on Netflix, right?
I think it is streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
I got the DVD from the company, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I didn't really come prepared for a real recommendation. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix, but I'm a huge fan of like Hong Kong action and martial arts movies.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. Actually, is Iron Monkey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an older throwback movie, but it's old Donnie Yen, and I can't remember who else was in it, but Quentin Tarantino actually put his name on it for a while there. Yep. He produced it.
Yeah, I remember that came out.
Yeah, it's. I recently watched it on Netflix again, and I forgot how well it was choreographed and how well the story was laid out.
I think Tarantino was basically the person that got it brought to the U.S.
Yeah,
I think that was the big thing. Yeah.
I
remember that's why I saw it. I was like, Tarantino's name on it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a huge stretch where he's like bringing all these films up, saying like, oh, you should watch this, this, and this if you like my other films.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm surprised you didn't do that with Manos, because
yeah,
he has a strange love affair with Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah, he does. I only ever remember watching that movie because of the Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh yeah,
coverage of that one.
That's the only reason to watch that.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen that.
Oh, it's so fun.
It is
almost as good as Pod People. Pod People's the best.
It is the pinnacle of the very. It's a film that's so drawn out and boring that it somehow becomes funny. Because there's one point in the film where when I was watching it at Mystery Science Theater where nothing is happening, it's just a character struggling to get up off his feet, and nothing's happening, and at one point like the Mystery Science Theater crew just scream, "Do something!"
I love it.
That's all you have to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this has been Video Store Veterans with Mark,
Keegan,
and Ryan.
Thank you for listening.